Hey, it's Travis, the Oscar Mike Radio. How you doing? And it's number 164, and I'm having a good time. Even as I think about the events from September 11th and how they changed our country, what I'm about to talk about gives me hope for the future. And I know that there are organizations and people out there that care about our veterans. And I want to take a minute and thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Realty and Mark Holmes of Reaper Detailing and Power Washing. Get Reaperfied. Joyce Asack can be contacted at 508-942-7146 or go to her website, asackrealestate.com. You can contact Mark Holmes, text him, or call him at 508-298-2674. And he is mobile. He can come right to you. Right to you. And I appreciate their support and what they do for veterans. And what's going to happen is eventually I'm going to have a little video commercial for them and insert it here. So even though September 11th is a very terrible thing, again, I want to talk about something that was very good for veterans and really showcases how private organizations can work with a nonprofit to affect good change. And what happened to me when I checked this event out. So the Greater Boston Stand Down is now taking place in the Government Center, or what is known as, Boston City Hall. And it's put on by the New England Center and Home for Veterans in cooperation with many, many, many public and private entities, companies, businesses, individual service providers of all kinds, credit counseling, the Registry of Motor Vehicles, the VA, I'll get back to them in a second, people serving food to veterans, people giving haircuts to veterans. That was a really cool thing to see. And they do it to give veterans a way to connect with services. If you remember my talk with Secretary Francisco Urena, his overall point was there are many resources for veterans, but connecting the veteran to those resources is the challenge. And this is a way to connect veterans to resources. And really, I was one of those veterans. I was just there to check it out, see some people, have a good time, understand what was going on, and it kind of changed a lot of things for me. So before I get into that, I want to thank the New England Center and Home for Veterans for the coordination and work that goes into all this. I want to thank all the businesses that supported this. CVS had a big push to hire veterans. They have a veterans program at some of the bigger bases where you can separate out and go through your last 180 days of separation and kind of get into their management track. So you can get out and walk into a job. And working at CVS might not be for you, but the fact of the matter is that that program is there and they're behind it. And, they will interview you right there. It is a pretty big deal. Raytheon was there last year. I really enjoyed getting to talk with them because Raytheon built the missile system I worked on in the Marine Corps. And, just really good things going on. Really good things going on. So I'm walking through all the tents, talking to people, taking pictures, Some of them are here on the little slideshow there. Hope you like that. And I'm walking, just having a good time. It's during my lunch, and I'm coming down there to check it out, right? And this woman says, "Hey, how are you doing?" I'm like, "You looking at me?" Yeah. I said, "I'm fine. How are you doing?" She's like, "Fine. I'm a nurse." And my radar goes up instantly, because when I hear the word nurse, nurse is to, you know, dogs as food is to shots. I don't know if I said that right. But anyway, I associate the word nurses with shots. And I come from a very heavily focused medical family involved with nursing, doctors, medicine, pharmacy. I'm one of the black sheep. I didn't go into dentistry. I didn't go into nursing. I didn't go into psychiatric care. I didn't go into ER nurse care. I am one of the black sheep. And there's a reason for that. I have learned that not everybody can do what nurses can do. And I always, if I can for a second, I always get kind of amused at these TV shows, that have the, doctor, Dr. Fantastic, for lack of a better term. He's going to come in there and tell the nurses how things go. And I'm like, well, how's a doctor with, 4 to 5 years experience match up with a nurse who has 25 years experience? I don't understand that. And I don't know a lot, but I do know that a doctor telling a nurse that he doesn't have to listen to her advice or his advice. So I know some male nurses too, and that's looking at you, Captain Tile, is a recipe for disaster, right? So I'm always amused by those TV shows that make it out to be that nurses are kind of clueless. But anyway, I'm walking through there and the nurse says, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I didn't know she was a nurse. I'm like, "Well, I'm doing all right. Just I'm here checking it all out. There's all kinds of people around here." And, I'm like, "What are all these people in scrubs?" There's like this whole like hospital ward down there. One of the local hospitals had come down and were providing healthcare services to veterans and checking them out, checking out their feet and their backs and lacerations. It was, because we got some homeless population in Boston, some guys in need, and it was very cool. And she's like, "I'm a nurse. I'm from the VA. How are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm doing all right. Good to talk to you. I'll be." No, don't go anywhere. Don't go. Talk to me. So tell me, are you a veteran? I said, "Yeah, I'm a veteran, Marine Corps. I'm just here checking it out. I'll be on my way. Don't want to, get in your way." She's like, No. Talk to me. Talk to me. So you're a Marine veteran and you're here. When's the last time you've been to the doctor? And I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." I said, "Well, it's been a while. I try to not go as often as possible to the doctor's office. I really try hard to live by that mantra, which means I don't do stupid stuff, and I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't chew, I don't do any of that stuff, so I can stay healthy, so I won't have to go to the doctor." And she gave me that look, and I've seen that look before, right? I've seen that look before from some of my family members who, if they had their way, I wouldn't be answering like that. And if they lived closer, certain arrangements would be made. But since I'm here and they're there, and well, it's just, I don't go. I don't go. And it's not because I hate medical types or anything. I just don't prefer to go, right? You got to sit there and go to the doctor's office. And 9 times out of 10, there's some shot they want to give you, which really freaks me out. I'm just not into that, right? I'm just not into that. And you get some kind of lecture about this or that, or, all these tests. And then they got to take your blood. Now, understand, take your blood. which they inject you with a needle and extract your bodily fluid, your life force into a tube. I mean, I'm sorry. I just can't deal, man. I just can't deal. So I don't go. And when I told her, well, it's been a while, that was the wrong answer. That's not what she wanted to hear. So she's like, there's no shots involved. You have no reason not to talk to me. I'm like, darn it. And I knew I should have, did a 180 and beat feet. I mean, but then she grabbed a hold of my arm. I'm like, oh man, this nurse knows how us veterans work. She's like, come back here. I want to introduce you to some of my friends. They'd be more than happy to talk to you. Come on, it won't hurt at all. I'm like, really? There's no shots involved. She's like, no, there's no shots involved. You'll be fine. We can't have our veterans walking around Boston without going to the doctor as often as possible or as often as they need to. That's why we're here. Trust me, I've got you. Come on. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And the thing was, I was walking between two tents, so it's like a long hallway, and I'm getting a little nervous. I feel my heart palpitating. My blood pressure is going up. I'm like, oh my God. Because when I got to the end of this, like for lack of a better term, this long tunnel or hallway, open air that is, there's all these tables with these, people with stethoscopes and, blood pressure cuffs and all this other stuff. And I'm looking for some forceps. I'm looking for some syringes. I'm looking for those little rubber things, those little like rubber band type things they all wear to, make your veins go fatter when they go to stick you. Yeah, those. I didn't say anything. I'm like, okay, I've got there's an exit over there. There's an exit over there. I can force entry and exfil to a safe location. And she's like, hey, these ladies will take care of you. Got another one, girls. They're like, yeah. So they sit me down and they're like, ask me the same questions. And that's the other thing. When I go to the doctor. I'll see 4 different people before I see the doctor, the nurse practitioner, and they all ask me the same question over and over again, as if I'm going to give them a different answer. How are you feeling today? Well, I'm feeling all right. Not so bad, as they say in Letterkenny. The next one says the same thing. How are you feeling today? I said, well, I'm doing all right. I swear to God, it's the same question 4 times. But anyway, they sit me there and ask me how I'm doing and how I'm feeling and why am I here. I said, well, I'm here because, one of your colleagues out there trapped me into coming back here. And they thought that was the cutest thing they'd ever heard. They're like, we got a live one here. And the nurse who wound up, taking care of me in the first stage was like, well, a classic veteran. Guess where I work, sweetie? I'm like, well, your scrub there says the VA. She's like, yes, so I know how to deal with all you veterans who hate the doctor and hate nurses. So you've got a choice. You can either get with the program there, sonny boy, or, well, it's just not going to go well for you later in life. And I'm like, well, I really don't have a choice, I guess. I mean, I guess I do, but by that time she was giving me this look of death, right? And I was getting nervous. And I'm like, man, I'm twice her size, man. I mean, I could just walk out of here, but there was something that was keeping me on the chair. I didn't know what it was. It was some kind of invisible force. And I'm like, why did I even come down here? I was set. I was just taking some pictures, having a good time. I'm like, well, nothing is wrong with me. She's like, how do you know? You haven't been to the doctor in quite a while there. How do you know nothing's wrong with you unless you find out? And she gives me that look like, you know what the answer is. I just want to hear you say it. And I'm like, oh my God, this day is just getting worse. Because again, it's nothing personal against you, medical professionals. I think nurses are awesome. My sister's a nurse. My other sister's a nurse. Mom's a nurse. Mom's a nurse. Brother's a nurse. I mean, I could go down the line. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you all. It's just, I just don't like being in hospitals, man. But the thing is, she started asking me questions and she took my blood pressure and, listened to me breathe and, listened to took my pulse. And the funniest thing was she's, putting the stethoscope on my chest and she's like, "Are you feeling all right? You're hot." Like, "Oh my God, you're hot." I said, "Well, look, I put off a lot of BTUs. I'm just hot. Like in the wintertime, I sleep with the window open and I wear shorts. You can ask my friends. They don't get it either." She's like, "You're fine." I said, "Yeah, no, trust me. You can take my temperature. I'm a perfect 98.5. I just run hot." What can I say? But the thing was, as I started talking to her, in the interest of privacy, and I don't want to get her any kind of hip trouble or anything like that, we started talking about, what she did. And the thing was, she worked in the VA in Brockton, Massachusetts, in the operating room. And so, and she's been doing it, she said, for 25 years. So she's like, "I've seen where we were, where we are, and where we're going." And she's like, "No hospital is perfect. I know that the idea is that private hospitals are better, but private hospitals a lot of times don't know how to work with and talk with veterans. Private hospitals, because many of them are for profit, aren't going to give you the care you need, whereas I'm going to staff and do what I can control to the best of my ability. We'll get the better equipment to check veterans out. I can tell a veteran, the straight scoop. I know how to talk to them." And she's like, "I've been doing this for 25 years and it never gets old, and it's a privilege." And I'm sitting there and we're not talking like patient, client or patient nurse. I'm sorry, excuse me. We're just talking like people. And I couldn't get over how sincere it was that she was trying to communicate to me that this wasn't just a job that she had to go to, and she had these guys she had to work on. That, the communication from her and a couple of her, colleagues there was, we are committed to providing the best patient care for veterans. And look, there were no shots. They were all right. There were no shots. But the thing was, every veteran there, whether they were dressed in a suit and tie, whether they were dressed in old ratty clothes, received the same standard of care. Because I was sitting there for a while, and every person, I'd say 90% of us were guys, were treated with dignity and respect, like we mattered. And these nursing professionals wanted to show us how much they care. And look, I know that nurses in hospitals across the world feel the same way, but it was just nice to see it, because a lot of times you don't get to see it up close and personal, somebody else getting cared for. Usually it's in a private room or in a private area. It might be like an ER and they might have the little curtain across the room, but you don't get to see some other guy getting his feet looked at, or, a cut on his leg looked at, or, some bump on his face looked at, right? You're not getting to see that up close and personal. Whereas the other day, I got to see that for a while and it was nice. So we get done with the evaluation. She, thought my blood pressure was a little high, and then we had it taken again. It was right where it should be. So she asked me what was going on. I said, "Well, I really don't like the whole medical experience. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. I just don't deal well with that. Okay, I just don't. Sorry. But everything was cool. And then they wanted to have my eyes checked. That's a different story, but I'll tell that one as well. And during the time, she's like, you qualify for VA care. You want to sign up? And I'm like, well, I have my own insurance. But she's like, well, what if you get into an accident and you're 5 miles from a VA hospital? And because you have all your paperwork filled out, they know they can take you to the VA hospital and get you worked on right there. Or what if it's a procedure that your private insurance is going to nickel and dime you on, but you can come here and get cared for, and we'd be happy to do that for you. And you really should have already been signed up years ago. So we're going to sign you up. I'm like, okay, let's get this process started. So they started that process, and then I got my eyes looked at. And I think this is part of the reason that I have an issue with military medicine is, I had some issues with my right eye when I was in, and I suffered for a pretty long time with it before I got out and got to a civilian doctor. And the civilian doctor nailed down what the problem was in 2 appointments, and a week and a half later, I was feeling great. Nothing serious, but still, it's something that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And it sucked when I would have an issue with it. And so they looked at my eyes. They said, I'm getting old, but I can still see, and there's nothing major going on. And just like the nurses, the eye doctors, is it optometry, right? Ophthalmologist. We're like, you can come to the clinic in Quincy, and we can see you anytime. You just call for an appointment and make it happen. And then I was supposed to go get my hearing checked, but I'll do that later. I had to get back to the office, and I was walking out. There were other people getting looked at, and there were guys getting prescriptions for eyeglasses who couldn't do it on their own. There were people getting reading glasses who needed to read. They had a hard time reading, and the look on their faces when they could pull up their paperback book and read it without a problem was amazing, man. It was pretty special to watch that happen. And it's just, for me, I think that it just goes back to what Secretary Uranus said, and it plays over and over in my mind. There are resources out there. There are companies of all different varieties, whether they're pharmaceutical, banking, landscapers, barbers, and hairstylists, and I didn't get their names, but there were 2 hair places giving veterans free haircuts. One was a traditional barber, one was a hairstylist place in Boston, and they had brought their whole chair system out there and were giving veterans a haircut and a shave. It was pretty cool to see. And kind of like the nurses, these individuals thought it was a privilege and an honor to be doing that. So closing this out with just a big, big thank you to the New England Center and Home for Veterans and all the companies that provided food and gift bags for the veterans and services to the veterans. I mean, there was credit repair, there was the RMV. I mean, and taking care of stuff right there, no line. If you had a problem or issue, they had the entire thing set up. It was great. Like, maybe what I should do is wait till September 2020 and get any problem I have taken care of right then and there. It was amazing. No, I won't do that. But if you're one of those people though who don't like staying in line and feel more comfortable around veterans, and you need to get stuff taken care of, and maybe you're behind on an excise payment, or you just have an issue that needs to be taken care of, well, maybe this is the place for you. And I think that's the big thing to see, right? So just all good stuff. And those darn nurses got me. They just waylaid me. It's like they laid a trap for me. They got me. I took pride in staying out of their clutches. But no, it was pretty good, and I really appreciated the conversation I had with all of them about why they were there, and some of the veterans they've taken care of in the past, and what they want to do to make sure that the quality of care they provide is second to none. So even though September 11th, yesterday, is a very sad time in our country, I kind of wanted to provide some hope and light during the time that for me and a lot of people I know, it started a process where lives were lost, and they're still dealing with that loss. And I don't want anybody to forget what happened on that day. But there are people in this country who still care about the veterans and military members who serve our country and want to make sure they're taken care of. And on that note, I'm going to shut this down. And I hope that if you're a veteran, you can reach out to your VA for help. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me, Travis at OscarMikeRadio.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere. So like, subscribe, share, and I will see you next week. We're on the move, lock through launch.